set. Okay, back projection. Cue music. And action.
So, what was your first reaction, getting the call? With these characters, so legendary, what was your first reaction?
Well, my first reaction was, that's a pretty intimidating prospect, you know, and if there's no point in doing something like recreating Laurel and Hardy unless you're going to do it really, really well. And oftentimes, independent films don't have the means to do things like prosthetic makeup and digital effects and all those kind of things, and period movies, you know. Normally, that's the province of expensive, big-budget Hollywood movies. So my first thing was like, well, if we can do this very well, then I'll consider doing it.
Hollywood legends Mr. Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy arrived in Britain today as they embarked on a national tour.
We're doing this while we're waiting for this new picture to come together.
I'm going to make sure that this tour gets off on the right foot.
I had to be convinced of that at first, and then I had to convince myself that I was worthy of taking on such a legendary performer, you know?
I was also anxious, but not quite as anxious as John, because it did make me nervous, and it did carry the risk of failure if we got it wrong, but it was also exciting, and you know, in this life, and if you're able to make your life exciting, even if it's scary, then you need to, you know, carpe diem and all that. So and when I knew John was on board, then I thought, oh, you know, we can't not do it. You know, it's worth the risk to try and what do you say? No guts, no glory.
That's right. Yes. No guts, no glory.
It's very American, but I'll go with it.
There it is, the Eiffel Tower.
It's amazing that you two are still going strong. Still using the same old material.
It's kind of a love story, right? So, how did you find that chemistry to become this old married couple?
We spent a lot of time together. Is the first thing we did. We rehearsed these dances and these songs, and we developed these comedy routines. You know, some of their work we reproduced faithfully from their films in our film, but a lot of our work in the film, these routines that we do, we had to create. We had to sort of be inspired by them, but find our own way through it and come up with our own jokes and our own punchlines. And
yeah, I think
and that was a really interesting way to get to know each other.
It's funny, in these rehearsals, when we were rehearsing these dances and these routines, we got to know each other and got comfortable in it, and felt like in the end we did sort of own the roles you know, when we were halfway through the process, it starts to feel like, okay, we're getting comfortable in the saddle now, and I feel like we can, if we keep doing what we're doing, then we'll get to the finishing line in one piece.
You're not leaving, are you, Stan? The show must go on.
You have like a mannerism or like a movement or something?
I had a funny line that I used to say as Stan that kept me. I used to say, "Does your mother know you're calling?" Which was someone said, a Stan and Ollie fan explaining when he called Stan Laurel on the phone, the first thing Stan Laurel said to him, because he was calling a long distance call, was, "Does your mother know you're calling?" And I used to say that to kind of, as a ritualistically.
You know, one of the keys to Oliver Hardy, I found, was being flirtatious and just kind of working your way around and taking delight in the romance of life, you know. So that's what I would always kind of go back to that, this very romantic kind of over the top. And then of course the humor comes in when he has to deal with Stan, and that Stan is always, you know, smashing this romantic ideal that Oliver has.
When you watch our movies, it was just the two of us. All we had was each other.
Je ne regrette rien. And you shouldn't regret rien either.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stan Laurel and Mr. Oliver Hardy.